Hey, yeah. Oh, Matrix is up. Hey, hey, hey. Hello? Yes? Hey, check. Hey, check. One, two. Talking into a microphone forever. It's just how my world works. Hey, check. Hey, check. Check. One, two. Hey, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Check. One, two. Ooh, ooh. That's where I need to be. Hey, check. Ooh. That's much better. Hey, check. Yeah, I'm getting something for the whole room, real quick. But I was hearing. Hey, hey. Ooh. I'm still hearing something. You good? You comfortable? I'm doing good. Okay. These guys are all good. Yeah. I mean, I'll get into it when I'll be EQing as a coming in. Come on in.
I've never noticed that all the time. I did buy some waffles, I have a stick little ball bag in my car.
Okay, what you said, because they're closed, right?
I think they still anyway. Vallejo. Vallejo. Didn't know that.
Good evening. Oh, goodness. There we go. We're on. Woo. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see a great turnout here tonight. We got a lot of exciting things to talk about. At this time, I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that a notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time, would you please rise for the pledges and a word of prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, at this time, would Judge Ben Nescu come up and give us a word of prayer, please? Yes, sir.
Okay, would you bow with me, please? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, we do not have yesterday anymore, and tomorrow hasn't been promised, so give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding today. Bless our board, give them your guidance. Lord, bless our children in these endeavors. We thank you, and we pray that you'd be here present with us tonight. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Judge. All right, at this time, we will administer the oath of office of the new board members. With us tonight is Judge Chris Dugan, and we want to thank you for your presence here this evening. And while the judge is putting his robe on, we had Kelly Seacatz and James Allen, who were unopposed at the May 5th election, so they were reelected, and we'd like to just publicly thank you for putting your name on the ballot, and a leap of faith for another 3 years, and we appreciate the service that you have served so far. So at this time, Ms. Seacatz, would you please come around, and Judge Dugan will join you. Also with her is her husband, Alan. And Alan, thank you for the time that she's on the phone and probably reading her emails and sometimes not smiling, but we appreciate your support too. Absolutely. All right, at this time, Mr. James Allen, would you please come forward? Also joining Mr. Allen is his lovely wife, Pat. And Pat, thank you for your years of tolerance with James being on the school board. All right, congratulations. Yes. Judge Dugan, thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
Honored to do it. Now, just remind everybody, we got elections going on to go vote.
To go vote, absolutely. And so also with us here this evening, yes, permanently for a year now, we did appoint Mr. Chris Dillon to the school board. So Chris, if you please come around, we have a plaque to present you as well. Mr. Dillon was sworn in a couple weeks ago. All right, at this time, we will discuss reorganizing of the board leadership positions.
I make a motion that the board leadership positions will remain the same for the 2018-19 school year as they were for the 2017-18 school year.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right. Thank you again for volunteering to serve, and we all are in this together, so each one of our votes counts equally. So
I would just like to say, I think it shows the approval of the rest of the board for the leadership that we've been seeing for the last year. Continue it. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. All right. At this time, Mr. Edwards, would you introduce our student speaker for character education trait for May?
It'd be my pleasure. Our trait this month is integrity. Is Kylie McNabb in here? There she is. Kylie, come on up. Kylie McNabb is a 5th grade student at Bastrop Intermediate, and she's going to speak on the character trait of integrity. Kylie plays softball, enjoys running, drawing, and academics. She is also a mascot. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Kylie. Maybe you can tell us about that. Kylie's parents are Michael and Jill McNabb. If they'd stand and let us recognize you at this time.
Today I will be speaking about integrity. Webster defines integrity as firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic to values incorporatable. C.S. Lewis says integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Integrity is having the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Integrity is choosing your thoughts and actions wisely. Integrity is choosing courage over comfort, using what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and choosing to practice your values rather than simply professing them. Integrity is building by defeating the temptation to be dishonest. Humility grows when you refuse to be prideful. The endurance develops every time you reject temptation to give up. Integrity stems the Latin word for integer, which means whole and complete. The integrity requires an inner sense of wholeness and consistency of character. When we have integrity, people should be able to visibly see it through your actions, words, decisions, methods, and outcomes. When you are whole and consistent, there is only one you. You bring out the same you regardless of the circumstance. You don't leave parts of yourself behind. You don't have a work you, a family you, a social you. You have the same person all the time. No matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all. Integrity is everything. I take all these beliefs and principles and define integrity as having strong moral principles and not being afraid to stand up for what I think is right, and not caring if anyone is there to see it.
Kylie, that was wonderful. Thank you. Takes a lot to come up and speak in front of an auditorium this size, I can guarantee you that. As we go around the district, this time of year is one of our favorite because this is when everything comes to a culminating end, and we have plenty of recognition. We're looking forward to celebrating with everyone this evening. What we'd like to do, our special recognitions, is start with Bastrop High School and Cedar Creek High School bands. Mr. Chico Portillo, if you'd come and present.
Good evening, members of the school board. I am very happy and proud to recognize the following students and their teachers for the high achievements in their respective fine arts for this year. I'm going to start with the two high school band programs, as the students and the teachers have concerts and recitals to go to tonight. So first, from Cedar Creek High School, come on up. Come on up, guys, don't be shy. We have Director Chris Mendez and student Scott Stockup, Emily Evans, Nick Wensky, Jordan Pedrosa, Gabby Gonzalez, and Victoria Maldonado. Tonight, we're recognizing the non-varsity concert band as they earn superior ratings in the sight reading portion of the UIL concert sight reading contest, which is the literacy portion. And I need to make note here, last year, for the first time in school history, the varsity band at Cedar Creek High School earned the prestigious Sweepstakes Award, which is earned by earning superior ratings at the marching contest in the fall and then at the concert and sight reading portions in the spring. Last year was the first time in school history. This year, the varsity band did it again, and they're on to something great as they earned that coveted Sweepstakes Award. So 2 in a row, guys. Congratulations.
All right. Success is contagious. Well done. Thank you all.
All right, next from Bastrop High School, next from the Bastrop, the high school band program, I call on Director Kenneth Gilbert and the students Francesca Ramirez, Jocelyn Enriquez, and Riley Tamayo. We're also recognizing the non-varsity band who earned superior ratings in the concert portion of the UIL Concert Sight Reading Contest. And next, it's important to note that it's been 16 years since the Bastrop High School varsity band has earned the Sweepstakes Award. And I'm very proud to say that this year they did it by making straight ones at marching, concert, and sight reading. So the Bastrop High School is back on track. Congratulations. Next, we have the Bastrop Middle School Band Director, Sandra Sen. And Ms. Ramirez? Okay. And we have students J.C. Washington and Callie Banta. The middle school UIL sweepstakes is a little different than the high school one, is that there's not a marching component to it, thank goodness. And it's awarded for superior ratings for both the stage and sight reading performances. This year, the Bastrop non-varsity band got the Sweepstakes Award, and the varsity band earned superior ratings for their stage performance. And this is the first time in a long time that the non-varsity has made sweepstakes. So we're happy to report we're making great progress. So congratulations.
I'd also like to recognize that we attended Soundwaves Music Festival this weekend. Both bands got straight ones, and the varsity won best in class, so we're overly proud of everybody. And thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. Next year is 22 years here. Thank you so much, and great kids. I love it.
Thank you.
Bravo. Okay, next we have directors Ernesto Bueno, Nicole Correa, and Mary Bryant with the Cedar Creek Middle School Band. And they will have student representatives, come on up, Taylor Gillum, Rebecca Guajardo, Thomas Willem. The CCMS band program continues to raise the bar, as this is the first time in school history that both the non-varsity and the varsity bands got sweepstakes award on concert and sight reading. So congratulations to them. Thank you again. All right, moving out of the music world and into the theater world. From Cedar Creek High School, we have director Brandon Marks and student Sean Patterson, who was nominated for the Best Featured Performer at the GATSMA for his role in Sister Act, the musical. Would you please help me congratulate Mr. Marks and Sean Patterson. Okay, next from Bastrop High School, we have director Mandy Tapia and her student, Hunter Anderson. Come on up. Hunter is a senior. Yes, congratulations. Hunter is a senior graduating with Thespian Honors and will be competing at the International Thespian Conference in June in Nebraska. He was also nominated as Best Actor in a Leading Role at the GASMA Awards for his role in The Little Shop of Horrors as Seymour. So congratulations, suddenly Seymour. So board members and parents, I want to thank you for your attendance tonight and your continued support of the Fine Arts program. Thank you. My portion is over.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Portillo. We appreciate your leadership as our Director of Fine Arts. Next, we'd like to recognize our Cedar Creek High School and Bastrop High School golfers. Coach Edwards.
Coach Martinez is here to discuss the Cedar Creek golf team. They got third in district this year. They were 10th the year before, so they made huge improvements.
Wow.
And I'll let Coach Martinez elaborate on that.
Hello, nice to see y'all today. Basically, Arturo is a two-time regional qualifier. He was first-team All-District this year, and the best thing about it, he's just a junior, and he'll be back for next year. So we're looking for big and brighter things. This is Arturo Hernandez. He was our #1 golfer this year.
Okay, we have Casey Harmon and Coach Watley here for Bastrop Golf. Casey's a 4-year letterman, first team All-District all 4 years, 3-year regional qualifier, academic, all district, all 4 years, and will play golf at Ranger Junior College.
Thank you, Coach Patman. Next, we'd like to recognize the Cedar Creek High School men's soccer team.
Okay, this is Coach Eric Fisher in the district champion Cedar Creek soccer team and also area finalist. And special note, Coach Fisher was named 19-5A District Coach of the Year. That's a great honor and from your fellow coaches. Coach Fisher popped his Achilles tendon showing a drill, so he's a little slow these days.
Celebrating?
Showing a drill to the
Oh, okay.
Thank you, board members, for having us this evening. These are some of the members of the men's soccer team, and I want to introduce them each because each one obviously played a role in our success this year. First gentleman I have is Mauricio Razzo. He was our senior captain. Mauricio was first team all-district and is also an academic all-state qualifier. Here we have Eli Manzano. He was the goalkeeper of the year in District 19-5A as a junior. On the other side, also a junior, is Adrian Gordillo. He was the co-newcomer of the year this year in District 19-5A. In the middle here is Luke Perry, another individual who qualified for academic all-state for us this year. We have Jesus Lieva, a sophomore who was honorable mention all-district, and two other sophomores here, twins if you can't tell, Brian and Ryan Santander. Ryan Santander was honorable mention. Brian Santander was second team all-district. And then we have Leo Santander, their cousin, who was honorable mention all-district as well. And just a quick mention of our season and our team. It's always been important to us to perform, and I think that that's very important. But at the same time, I think one thing that we're doing, not only for our high school, but for the community in general, is developing young men to grown men. And I think that that's very important. We're sending several individuals off to college, either academically or athletically. Those people are going to be the future leaders of this area, of this community, and I think that they're people that you guys as board members can be very proud of, that I'm very proud of as a coach, and that are going to be the future leaders of this area, and I think that that's very important. Also to be a program that has been successful. We've had 3 district championships now in 4 years. I think that that's there's a lot of talent that's required for that, but you don't get by on talent alone. And we have a ton of guys who are hard workers, who have dedicated themselves to each other and to a program and to a school. And I think that what we've been able to accomplish over the last few years, and these young men here have been able to accomplish this year specifically, is a continuation of a process that has been working very well, and I think this community has a lot to be proud of. So thank you for recognizing us this evening.
All right, Coach Patman, not to be outdone, Bastrop High School soccer.
I think that's hard to follow. I think we were outdone, and so I'm actually going to go ahead and go to Bastrop softball.
Sure.
I'd like to bring Coach Morgan up to recognize our softball team.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Therese Morgan. I'm the head coach at Bastrop for softball, and we finished fourth in our district this year. We made playoffs, and I'd like to introduce these girls to you. Alexa Nance, she is a senior. Melanie Lombardo, she is also a senior. Leah Dobbs, senior. Isabella Salinas, senior. Erin Malone, senior. My juniors, I have Malaya Rodriguez in the back. Jessica Eskew up front. My sophomore, I only have one here today, Avery Allen. And my freshman, Mariah Moore. I had 12 girls this year. It was a competitive season, really happy with what we did. 8 of my 12 are academic all-district, which means they need to maintain a 90 or better in our competitive season. And I have 1 academic all-state, which, 94 or better from her freshman year through her senior, and that's Erin Malone. Thank you.
Coach, before you leave, I know we have some parents in the audience.
Yes.
That this goes back to when these young ladies were little, and I know that I've seen some of them. Coach Gilbert, if he's still in the audience, there he is, and Coach Eskew is in the audience, and any other coaches in the past who coached these young ladies before they got to high school. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. I got to be a part of seeing that, and I know the hours that y'all put into that, and congratulations to y'all.
We actually do have something to recognize for boys soccer at Bastrop. We have Eric Urest. He was first team all-district. I don't know if Eric's here. Eric? No. All right. Okay. And I'll just speak on that for a second. And I want to kind of apologize for my voice. I've been at football practice cheering very loudly, so it's kind of in and out. But the district that we play soccer in is just like any other sport. It's a highly competitive, a lot of tough teams. And so for us to have a guy that was first team all-district, it's a big deal for us here at Bastrop. And so next I'm going to speak about our tennis program, our mixed doubles team, which they're not here right now. Coach Artis is at another function, and maybe we get him here in a minute. But they were regional qualifiers. They won their first match there in regionals. I had the pleasure of watching them play several times. Just a good team that fed off of one another, and so we were very proud of those two young people. I'm going to call Cody Walker up to recognize some of our baseball players.
Good evening. My name's Cody Walker. I'm the head coach at Bastrop High School. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce some of our student athletes that recently received some pretty distinguished honors. First up, Chandler Ingram. Chandler's going to be attending Texas A&M University in the fall. He was a great asset for me as a head coach. Recently, he was elected to the Academic All-State second team for 5A. Next up, Cody Van Clark. Cody's going to be playing baseball at Blinn College in Brenham. Cody has actually had a great 4 years for us. He was recently elected to the Austin American Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game at Dell Diamond on June 10th. There's a lot of great talent there, and we're glad he made that. He was also selected to the Academic All-State second team. Next up, I have Caleb Bujima. Caleb will be attending the University of Texas in the fall, and if he looks familiar, that's because he's on the billboard on 71. And you could not have picked a better kid to be the face of Bastrop ISD. Caleb was elected not to the second team, not to the first team, but to the Academic All-State Elite Team, made up of the top 30 GPAs in the state of Texas. The average GPA is 105. Caleb's is over that. It's been my pleasure to coach these three gentlemen for 4 years, and the future's bright with these three guys. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up Coach Mayberry in our boys track program.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to say, excuse some of our young men, the way some of them are dressed. We just got off the football field, came straight over, so just happy to be here. At this time, I'm going to call out kids that made it to regionals. And first one is Bailey Chapin. Bailey Chapin made it in the 4x4. He was also academic all-district, and he was also honorable mention all-state. Great job. You can stand up. Cole Tillwell. Cole Tillwell was on our 4x1, made it to regional, and he's also was academic all-district, and he was academic all-state. Hannah Jones. Hannah Jones was Mr. Do-It-All. He made it to regionals in the 4x1, the 100, and the 4x4. Great job. Alex Rice. Alex Rice is one of our seniors that we're going to miss. He made it in our 4x4 on the mile relay. Britt Rice, the brother of Alex Rice, who's a freshman. He made it to regionals in the 4x1, also the 4x4. Shaquay Cretan made it to regionals in the 4x1. And Matthew Martinez made it to regionals in the 4x4. And Simeon Thompson made it to regionals in the 4x4. Very proud of these young men. We have 2 seniors. The rest of them is coming back next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Oh.
This time I'd like to call Robert Watson. He's our Cedar Creek head track coach, and we had several athletes get to area and regional this year.
I'd like to introduce our 4x4 team. 3 of the 4 members are here tonight. Senior Leo Sanchez, senior Manuel Gomez, Gonzalez, Gonzo, and freshman Damian Perez. It was a great year. We also had Courtney Black. He qualified in 4 events, the triple jump, the 300 hurdles, the 110 hurdles, and the member of the 4x4 team. And we also had Stone Jones make it to regionals in the discus. They're unable to be here tonight. Thank you.
Next, at this time, we'd like to recognize the UIL headline writing student that placed 5th in state. Dr. Lee.
Is Minka here? No? Well, I'll just talk about her. Minka Atkinson is a senior at Bastrop High School and wants to go into journalism as a career, but she placed 5th in state in headline writing, which is actually quite a challenging competition. And she's also in our top 10, I believe, for the graduating class of Bastrop High School. So Minka Atkinson.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to invite Ms. Jennifer Edenfield up here to present some awards of Cedar Creek High School Advanced Construction Tech.
I'm going to go a little bit out of order, so I apologize because I wrote my script. Good evening, school board. It is with great pleasure that I get to introduce to you some of our career and technical education, or our CTE, teachers and students tonight. All of these teachers and students represent various student organizations that are available to all of our CTE students through BISD. The various student organizations that are available within BISD's CTE programs are BPA, which is Business Professionals of America, FCCLA, which is the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, HOSA, which is Health Occupations Students of America, Skills USA, Texas FFA, and FIRST Robotics. We have several of these organizations represented tonight, so without further ado, I would like to start off by recognizing the Bastrop FFA group, and the advisor is Brianna Teal.
Good evening. Today we have Kelsey Crawford. She placed 1st in district creed speaking, and she advanced on to area, our only student this year. So she is a freshman.
That's awesome.
Next, we have our Bastrop Robotics program, which is under the direction of Ryan Gibson and Aaron Land.
So this year, the Bastrop High School Robotics team, 40s Extend the Veritex, came together as a team at the Hub City Regional, along with our alliance partners of 1619 Upper Creek Robotics out of Colorado and the team 846 Funky Monkeys. We actually won the competition. This one qualified the Veritex to compete at the first championships in Houston, but this was just the beginning.
So a month later in San Antonio, the team was recognized for our unique look, the shirt, suspenders, and the pants. And we were recognized with our unique look and presence and awarded the Imagery Award. From the pit to us in the stands and to the field, the judges were suspended by the image of us.
So
robotics, not comedy.
The team came ready to perform and executed their strategy of gameplay with bots from 10 different countries. The team displayed gracious professionalism throughout their matches, even though we did not move on to the next level of the tournament.
So on May 18th and 19th, we will once again be competing with 31 other teams to be the top bots in Texas, the UIL State Championship in robotics at the Austin Convention Center.
Mm-hmm. And so the team members, we have Brendan here, me, who's been here for 4 years and is a senior.
Brian, who's been on the team for 3 years and is a senior.
We have Eli, who's been here for 3 years and is a senior.
We have Winter, who's been here for 3 years and he's a junior.
We have Arena, who has been here for a year and is also a junior.
We have Hector over here, who's been on the team for 1 year and he's a junior.
We have Angel, who's been on the team for a year.
We have Nathan, he's been on the team for 2 years and he's a sophomore.
Izzy is also otherwise known as Isabel. She has been on the team for 2 years and is a sophomore.
We have Sarah, who's been on the team for 1 year and she's a sophomore.
Derek, who is our main coding guy. He's been here for a year, and he's a sophomore.
And we have Antonio, who's been on the team for 2 years, and he's a sophomore.
And our lone freshman, Samir, who has been here for a year. And our advisors, we have Mr. Gibson, who's also here, and Miss Land.
That's the way to do it. Come bearing gifts. Thank you all.
Next, we have the Bastrop Automotive that represents Skills USA, and their advisor is James Cunningham.
Good afternoon. Nice for y'all to have us here. I'm glad y'all support everything we're trying to do. I have 3 young gentlemen that competed for us along with about 8 others at district level. I have Jonathan Brown, Isaac Coulter, and Sergio Vasquez that formed a community service project team for the first time. We volunteered and helped with the car show, and they took that 1 second in district with that competition and went on to compete in the state level. And then Isaac Coulter also was the first place at district in diesel service skills and competed at state level, and also received a $1,000 UTI scholarship for winning that first place at district. So we're very proud of all these, and thank y'all for your support.
Thank you. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Next, we have our Bastrop HOSA, our health occupations, which is under the direction of Annette Harrison.
I like it.
I am very proud to present these 2 young ladies that have gone very far this year. I have Hannah Atterbury, who competed at area and Outstanding HOSA chapter and made it to state. And then I have Lily Elsley, who competed on the round 1 online testing in nutrition and made 2nd place, which only the top 5 go on to state, and made 3rd in state and will compete in the international competition in Dallas in June.
I just was informed that Lily is the salutatorian for Bastrop High School.
Wow, congratulations.
I think she's already left, but
she's going home to study.
Yes, there you go. And lastly, we would like to also recognize our construction technology department, which is under the guidance of Mr. Gilligan. Over the past 2 years, the construction department has partnered with the city of Bastrop for Table on Main by building all of the picnic tables that are used for this particular event. The construction group has also partnered with Bastrop Chamber of Commerce by building the sets for their annual banquets, as well as the Bastrop Rotary set for Men Who Cook this year. So, Mr. Gilligan.
Hello, I have with me Eli Manzano, one of my students who is mostly here because he's a really good goalkeeper. We're just, thank you very much for the recognition. We're just really proud to be a contributing member of the Bastrop Independent School District team. Thank you.
Well, not so quick. They've also been able to partner with the Education Foundation for their banquet and building live auction items for that, as well as constructing some picnic tables that some of the parents donated at the Bastrop Middle School. And so, and I know there's many other things, so thank you for what y'all do. It's great.
Our pleasure.
Again, I just want to thank you for letting us showcase our CTE students and the advisors, and again, thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Ms. Edenfield.
So I was asked specifically by Ms. Womble from the Chamber of Commerce, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and Sarah O'Brien from the city of Bastrop, just to specifically say how much they appreciate all that Mr. Gilligan's students and that he does in leading them, because this is a tremendous partnership, and we want to provide even more of those in the future. And regarding our CTE program, just today we received a request for a news organization to come out to Bastrop, and we're the district that they've chosen to come out and film some of our CTE classes. And specifically, they're interested in automotive technology and our health science technology classes, and just seeing what our setup is like for a story that they're doing on the various career pathways that are available to students in this area, but it's Bastrop ISD that they've chosen to come in and do that. So I look forward to arranging that with Jennifer and our teachers program. So, Coach Patman?
I'd like to call up Coach Artis and our tennis mixed doubles team.
Good evening, everybody. My kids wanted to apologize for their appearance. They're out. They can't stay off the courts enough. So, but wanted to say first of all, congratulations, Superintendent Edwards, on your new position, and thanks to the school board for everything that you guys do. Not only to support tennis, but athletics in general. You know, we all know what a valuable resource it is for our kids to be able to go out and compete and participate and stay healthy. This is Alexa Ashby. She is a senior. She's a four-year letterman, and Noah Garcia, a junior. These two kids represented us at the, they actually had a 26-9 record this year in the spring. They got second at the district meet. They beat a team in a playback, a team that had previously beaten them twice from Connolly to get to the regional round. And then once they got to the regional round, they won their first round match. So they are regional quarterfinal champions representing Bastrop High School. Wow. And we want to thank you guys for your support. And I talk with a lot of friends and fellow coaches of mine, and I'm always comparing notes, and BISD supports tennis by leaps and bounds beyond what other districts are getting. So we, all the kids know that, they appreciate it, and they want to say thanks.
Absolutely.
So thanks again, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, Coach. Congrats, thank you.
Next year here.
Next, we'd like to honor Miss Melinda Gardner, who's been sitting there so patiently and behaving so well, for being selected to Raise Your Hand Texas Leadership Program. Melinda, would you come up so we can celebrate your success? Melinda is the principal of Lost Pines Elementary and has been selected to participate in the 2018 Raise Your Hand Texas Leadership Program. The kickoff of the year-long leadership program, she will travel to Boston this summer for a week-long institute at Harvard University at the Graduate School of Education Principals Center. The good news is her tuition and all expenses are paid for by them, the Raise Up Hand Texas Foundation. She and other participants will learn to apply research best practices focused on increasing student engagement, deepening their understanding of how students learn, becoming a more skilled developer of teacher talent, shaping school culture, support learning for all, and develop more sophisticated techniques for managing innovation of change. And in case that's
all in 1 week.
And if that's not enough, as part of her acceptance to the renowned program, she's required to conduct pre-planning, goal-setting, reading before attending the institute. Welcome to Harvard. She must also share institute scholars her campus data, campus performance plan review, and feedback. Group and individual presentations are required during and after the institute, as well as monthly meetings with her cohort and participants at site visits at Lost Pines. So we're very proud of you, Melinda. Thank you for doing that. Would you like to say anything?
I mean, it's an honor to be accepted to the program. Really excited for the opportunity to grow and bring the learning back right here at Bastrop, at not only Lost Pines, but hopefully here with all our colleagues in the school district and be able to have an impact through that learning that'll take place.
Melinda, we just ask that you please come back and give us a report on the clam chowder.
I can do
Jealous.
that, yeah. And there might be like one free night, and the Red Sox are playing the Angels during that week, so hopefully that's the free night. And I'll report back on that too.
Awesome.
Yeah, but really excited for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda.
Yes. While they're coming forward, I'd also like to give some recognition in the audience. We have Miss Lori Ingram, our county treasurer. Lori, would you raise your hand there? Thank you. She's here on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and We Believe in Bastrop ISD. They're attending our meetings, so thank you for patiently attending and sitting through our meetings. There's a lot of great things going on here at Bastrop ISD, and I know that is definitely the cause of We Believe in Bastrop ISD, so thank you for y'all's efforts.
All right, now that was a lot of recognition, and we love it. Next, we're going to do our district spotlight on Stuff the Bus. Dr. Lee.
Yeah, so we're so excited to offer this again to our families. July the 28th will be Stuff the Bus and our Back to School Bash, again at Memorial Stadium. Last year, we were fortunate to have the support of our community and give out 1,500 backpacks, pre-K through 12, stuffed with all of the appropriate school supplies. It was the first time we'd done high school, and so we were just kind of testing out how many might we need. And that actually, high school is that's what we ran out of. And so we're increasing our number to 1,600 this year, and it's going to be in a high school student backpack and supplies. We're getting a lot of support from the community, vendors and whatnot signing up, but we still need more support. We don't have an underwriter yet for this event. So anybody who's in front of me or behind me, if you know of someone who might want to underwrite the Stuff the Bus and Back to School Bash, or even on my right or my left, either, please contact me and we will get you hooked up on that. It's a wonderful event. It's totally free for all the people who come, and I look forward to seeing you all out there. Thank you.
Dr. Lee, I just questioned the title here of shouldn't it be Stuff the Buses? Because but how many buses are out there that we have backpacks in?
Yes, it should be Stuff the Buses. It just doesn't kind of roll off your tongue the same way. We'll consider that for next year, though.
And thank you all for being here, our Transportation Gold Star. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much. At this time, Ms. Barrientos reported that there is no one that signed up for an open forum. We will move into the superintendent's report and board discussion. Mr. Edwards, would you mind leading us through those agenda items, please?
Certainly will. This month, we don't have a report for a curriculum, but we do have a financial report. We have a budget update. Ms. Sandra Callahan.
Good evening, Board. So I was having a little technical difficulties before the meeting, and thanks to Randy, I hope we're all on board, and I hope the presentation is all there. Tonight, I kind of want to go over just major changes, or there's not a lot of major changes since our budget presentation in April, but the budget that we present tonight will basically be the budget that will be presented, barring anything unforeseen, in June at the public hearing. Just going through a few things that you've heard before, but I just kind of want to keep it on the forefront. When we start our budget process, we look at a lot of different things, talk to a lot of different people. Our district and campus needs assessment, of course, we always look at those, and we take into consideration our TAPER reports, and of course our first financial accountability report. We talk to our Student Advisory Council, our teacher organizations, our district performance committee, and instructional leadership, of course, as we meet with our departments and our campus leaders many times during the budget process. Our priorities, again, of course, that we've talked about, but again, of course, developing a curriculum management plan, a RTI, instructional focus on response to intervention, is an important focus. Our ELL learners, as that population continues to grow, that's always going to be a focus of the district. Social emotional learning expansion, that was added to the budget last year in the intermediate and middle schools. That's being expanded at the elementary level this year. And of course our secondary pathways, and as you can see tonight with all the recognitions, that certainly, that was quite a great thing the legislature done with the House Bill 5. We always think about our state and federal mandates. Of course, safety and security are always very important. Our secondary career paths, again, monitoring of our state allotments from TEA, they have new monitoring teams, and our ESSA, Every Student Succeeds, which is the old No Child Left Behind. This year, and last year actually, we started working with our campuses and sharing their allocations, changing the way we did our budgeting for our state allocations by allowing those campuses to have more flexibility and more say in how those funds are spent. They actually get an allocation for comp ed, state comp ed funds, their bilingual allotment, and for the federal funds as well. So that's been a great process we've gone through. It's important, as I spoke about with the state compliance, that those are monitored, and the campuses have worked very hard on helping us get that budget process going. Budget assumptions, it might be a little hard to see, but where I've made any changes, I've made those a different color. I've made them maroon. Our estimated enrollment, we actually met with our demographers, I guess it was last week or the week before, and found a few changes that we made for this budget. The main area was when we were looking at our numbers, we had in our projections, we had an incorrect number basically in our Cedar Creek Intermediate School. They showed about 100 less students than we showed for next year for projecting, and once we looked at that and spoke with Ms. Gabriel at CCI, we came to find that that is actually a good number. It was inflated, so we actually made a change for that, and you'll see some other changes that'll happen because of that in the budget. Our average daily attendance still at 10,379, and our WADA 13,423. Our comptroller values, which are set, and that's what our state aid is based on, is $3.4 billion, and our property value estimates, still an estimate, as we've just received our preliminary estimated values of $3.4 billion for 18-19. We'll get those final values in July. When they sent the roll, this $3.4 billion is conservative because the number on the roll is higher, but they will, well, I'm sure have a lot of protests, they said, so that number could be a little higher, but they did say take into consideration a large number of appeals possibly. Our M&O tax rate that we'll propose is $1.04, and our debt service tax rate at this time 40 cents. No change in those. Our current budget proposal includes a $1.1 million for compensation, which is our raises. One thing we were able to change with the increase in values and the change in the kind of the enrollment issues change that we had for Cedar Creek Intermediate, we actually are going to propose a 2% pay increase instead of a 1.5%, and maintain the district's contribution to the employees' health insurance premium, which is at $325 a month. So the pay increases are as follows: 2%, straight 2% raise for teachers, and 2% of the midpoint for the other areas, professional support, paraprofessionals, administration. And to keep in mind that 78% of our pay increases are instructional, going to teachers and classroom teaching assistants. We've talked to some districts, nothing formal. We have a group that talks, and districts especially that are doing July 1st budgets are looking, asking questions, seeing what other districts are doing in the area. And these are some of our districts, and we pick these because they're competitive as far as when teachers are looking for jobs. So this is the pay increase estimates for the different areas. Again, none of them have been finalized, but just to give you an idea of where we compare to the other districts. And also, Mr. Edwards and I have been looking at first-year teacher pay, and so we're still looking to get some more, and we'll add those in next time, but just kind of looking where districts are in that first year for a beginning teacher. For our new teaching positions for 18-19, that should say 6 new teaching positions instead of 8. That was a change from last month. We reduced 2 positions off of intermediate school. That will be fixed next month. That intermediate should say 2 instead of 4. We do have one unassigned position in case of growth in an elementary if we hit our 22-to-1. As you know, in previous years, after the year gets started, sometimes we have to come back and ask for additional staff, but we do have at least one unassigned staff that could go somewhere. The additional assistant principal that was allocated to Cedar Creek Intermediate School will not be needed at this time because their enrollment will be below that 1,000 student number. And I wanted to show our student-teacher ratio just by the different areas. And in looking at our TAPER report, and I know that's not current data, but and the TAPER does it by elementary and secondary. I broke it down in our different areas because Ms. Leifer, when she was working with all the campuses, had that for each campus. So I took an average of the elementaries. And looking at those numbers, elementaries, that's very in line with the state average that you'll see on the TAPER report. So those are good numbers, and so we're just right in line. So we do have, and the other thing to keep in mind, seeing that 18-to-1 for an elementary, we do have room for growth at the elementary, so when new students come. And that 18.1 does include the growth we've budgeted as well. Some of the non-payroll costs that are added to this budget, and there's not a lot in this budget other than pay increases. We do a campus supply allocation increase for growth each year for the increase in students. We have a small communication increase. We have our CPI increase for transportation, and that transportation, again, as Mr. Edwards said, is here tonight because their contract is on our consent agenda, or actually on our action item tonight for next year. We do have some one-time costs for HVAC and wastewater systems that are kind of in need of some critical work. Again, as I've highlighted, no portable and setup costs will be needed that was in the previous month's budget because of the less students. And when we talk to Ms. Gabriel at CCI, she can make it work with the number of students and with the number of classrooms she has. We do have a portion of the district daycare costs that we've put into the budget for next year, which is typically amended during the year, but we are just going to go ahead and put about $110,000 in because that's typically what the district's portion of that is, and that's the employee and student daycare. I wanted to show I show enrollment trends, and I show that ADA chart, but sometimes it's, for one thing, hard to read because it's so small. But I did want to show our enrollment growth over the last 10 years. And as you can see, we've grown to over 2,000 students. In over 10 years, we've grown over 24%. And when we met with our demographer last week, by 2028, they estimate 13,624 kids, which is another growth, another 25%. So as you know, the growth keeps coming, it's steady. As we've talked about, we hit that 5% growth as a high growth district in the last year. So I just want to keep that in mind for everyone to just know the students are still coming. Impact of property values, and we spoke about this, but I always like to continue to show it that when property values increase, that your state aid does decrease. That's the Robin Hood effect. That's when you hear that our property values are increasing. Sometimes people think you're going to get an influx of a lot of money, but we really don't, because our state aid is reduced, as you can see, almost by as much as it's increased by the property values and the property taxes. So just to keep that in mind, that shows a 3% increase. So if we get another $1 million in tax revenue, we lose $1.8 million in state aid. Our proposed revenue estimates for next year in local and intermediate revenue, which is mostly tax revenue, I'm showing a 1.1 million increase. Again, that's based on the current values we're using. And we're showing an increase of about 578,000 in state aid. The reason that number changed from last month is because for 17-18, as you'll see and you saw in your budget amendment for tonight, the district received extra state compensatory ed money this year because of the Harvey incident, where all of the students in September, in the month of September, all students ate free, whether you were in free and reduced or not. So that was something that the state did for areas, and Bastrop was in the hurricane area. So we received a pretty large additional amount of money in state compensatory education that we will not receive next year because that number is inflated for 17-18. So that's why that state revenue, the difference is less than last month's, because that number at 17-18 grew. Our federal revenue, the decrease is based on our SHARS settle-up. We do a SHARS settle-up report each year, and we don't know exactly what that amount will be each year, so we estimate that, and that's conservative. I'm guessing that the SHARS settle-up will be larger than that, but just to be conservative, we want to make sure that we have enough budgeted, not too much on the revenue side. I wanted to show again on the values just the increase that our property values have taken over the last 10 years, from 2.3 billion to 3.4 billion. That's a big growth, and it's continuing, as we all know. After our meeting last month, I went to a TASBO meeting, and all of the area chief financial officers of business people in different school districts in the surrounding area all had the same stories. Their property values are growing like crazy. We're lucky in that our student population is still growing, but some of these districts, their property values are growing and their student population is declining. So they're certainly having a hard time because their state aid is going down even more. And so we're lucky to still have the growth, but it's a common problem, and I didn't realize it because there are a number of districts outside in the Austin area that will become Chapter 41 within the next few years, and that's just going to be problematic for those schools. We're not near that. We talked a little bit about that last month, but just to show you how the property values have risen over the last 10 years. So our general fund budget that you'll be adopting in June, total revenues 90 million, 90.5, total expenditures 90.5. As we have mentioned all along, as we started talking about the budget process in February, we wanted to have a balanced budget at least, and having conservative tax revenue, we should put money in the fund balance for 18-19. Again, our goal for 17-18, even though we budgeted to use $1 million at the beginning of the budget process last year, we're already down to 768 and hopefully have a balanced budget for 17-18. Our goal is putting money in the fund balance over the next few years just to kind of recoup for those one-time costs that we did in the safety and security area in the past few years. The budget in your packet has all the instructional, as you know, you adopt the budget by the function level. I put those up on the screen. They're hard to read. I'll try to figure out how to get that up for next month where it's actually legible. But the other thing I would say in our budget with all the functions, 61% of our budget goes to instruction, which is classroom teachers, the supplies, anything that has to do with the budget. And you know, at one time, if you remember, in the first ratings, that was a big deal to get your instructional cost to 65%. Sometimes that was hard for us with our high transportation and maintenance costs because of for one thing, for the amount of travel that we do with our transportation. So 61% is very good for the district on instructional costs.
Is the state goal still the 65?
There is no goal anymore. They took that out because no one could actually hit it because of the rising cost of transportation costs, fuel costs, and utilities, actually. We'll also be adopting the debt service budget next month. Again, no change from last month. Our revenues, we're looking at be about $15 million. Our expenditures for our bond payments about $12 million. So we do look that there would be an excess in that debt service budget next year. And what I would want to say about that, it's possible if we have an excess revenue, we can always pay down debt. If bonds are callable, we work with our financial advisors. And so once we do get a good number in final values, that's something that Mr. Edwards and I have talked about that would be something the district would do because we have a healthy fund balance in our debt service fund balance. And we have to always have enough to make our August bond payments before tax revenue comes in. So we're just about in line for that. And our food service budget, no change from last month, about $5.3 million in revenue, $5.3 in expenditures, looking to put about $57,000 into the food service fund balance next year, and more if possible. I think we talked a little bit about it last month, but I just wanted to talk a little more about our federal funds. While the board doesn't adopt federal funds, it just shows you some additional monies that the district does receive and to buy instructional materials. Our Title I programs, our ESSA programs, our Carl Perkins is Career and Tech, and then the IDEA B are our special ed program. So just to see that is another large amount of money that we use and for instruction, it's all for instruction. So I wanted to give you that number. Those were the 17-18 numbers. We haven't received our 18-19 planning amounts yet. The good thing is on these programs, federal funds, if we don't spend it all, then it rolls forward to the next year. Again, just to kind of show put the budget calendar at the end because it's hasn't changed. Again, tonight we're having our proposed budget presentation. June 9th is when we'll publish the public hearing to adopt the budget on June 19th.
Sandra, on those public funds that roll forward.
On the federal funds?
Right, that's just not 1 year. I mean, could it be 2-3 years of it rolling, or?
Well, it rolls.
It just continues to roll.
I was looking for Heather, but it rolls each year. There's some of them are limited as far as how much you can roll forward. Some are not, but yes, it's a continuous. They roll forward every year. Well, clicker's not clicking. And just again on the tax rate adoption, we'll adopt that in September. We'll bring the proposed tax rate in August. And that's all I have tonight, but would be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Callahan? All right, thank you, Sandra, for your hard work.
All right, thanks.
All right, at this time, we have our personnel report. It's for information only. If there are not any questions, I will move on to the communications report, which we don't have one this month. Then our operations police department report. We don't have one we have some information for you in your board packet, but we did want to take a moment to recognize today is Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week. And if you've noticed that flags are flying at half-mast. And I just want to share that we acknowledge the incredible service and sacrifices law enforcement personnel make each day for our communities. These brave men and women work long hours, often dangerous situations, to protect our lives, liberty, and property. We also take this opportunity to pay tribute to law enforcement personnel who have been killed or disabled in the line of duty. We won't forget their contributions. And just on a personal note, Chief, thank you so much for all your excellent work. The proactive nature of your department is outstanding, and we appreciate you.
All right, this time we will move to our consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull any of the additional consent agenda items for discussion? All right, if there are none, I entertain a motion at this time to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed? Our motion carries. This time we'll move into action item here. Consider approval of amendment number 3 between Gold Star Transportation and Bastrop ISD. Ms. Callahan.
Yes, good evening. As we spoke in the budget process, and thanks, Derek, for being here, there is a 2.6% CPI increase for the transportation contract that is in the budget, and we just move that the board approve that contract as presented.
Any discussion from Ms. Callahan? Entertain a motion at this time.
I move that we accept the contract
Gold Star.
with Gold Star Transportation as it's changed.
Right.
Second.
We have a second. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve amendment number 3 between Gold Star Transportation and BISD. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. And Gold Star, thank you for what you do. I know there's a lot of field trip and athletic events and stuff, the buses and a lot of other things that y'all help us out with. So we really do appreciate it. It's a great partnership. All right, at this time, we'll move along. We have information items in regards to the board calendar and events. It's information only, enrollment as well for information only. It is now 6:48, and the board will now convene into closed session as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.07. In the agenda which was posted. Thank you. now 7:08 p.m., and the board will reconvene in open session. I will now entertain a motion.
Yes, sir. I move that the board approve the recommendations of the superintendent as presented to give notice of the proposed termination of the identified probationary contract at the end of the year teachers.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, at this time, do we have anybody that objects from adjourning this meeting? If there's not, then consider meeting adjourned. Thank you.